All right, we're going to start with the nation. Governors lead opposition to reworked electoral bill. Picture here of 29 killed in Niger, Kaduna gunmen attacks. That's a picture of vehicles burnt and houses burnt. Police arrest five over Ilesha unrest. GSC, we have not decided to replace Sanwo-Olu. How CBN is battling rise in food prices by the Emefiele. Tax returns, FIRS begins probe of big companies, and post-primary crisis rock APC and PDP cry in Ekiti State. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Major headlines.
Yes, major headlines.
Very interesting. So this electoral bill continues to be a distraction from, other issues, because every time we have issues that we must debate, the National Assembly members are now going to have a face-off with governors because they carefully, wisely, or otherwise, inserted in the bill a resignation clause. So if you are office holder, a minister, any appointee of government, and you have intentions to run for an office, you have to resign before the primaries. Usually, you have to do the primaries. If you win, you then resign and then face your campaign. But now it's no longer that. If this clause flies, if the president assents to this, you then have to resign before you can contest. Yes. Then they also inserted the clause, for the consensus, and I agree with this one actually. So to arrive at a consensus, all parties who have, all are vying for that office must sign a consensus agreement in document. So if there's one dissenting voice, it's not a consensus. And you know the way they used to do, when the elders of the party just picked up on that, they'll say it's a consensus candidate, whereas BC is still saying, I want to go. They'll say, how many numbers do you have? Yeah. So if BC remains dissenting, that's not a consensus. The consensus candidate means that everybody is. So I agree on that one. So the governors are now saying this can be, even the AG agrees with the governors that this can be sort of mischievous, and so they are fighting.
And your story? Yes, so the CBN had their last monetary policy committee meeting, and afterwards, the Central Bank of Nigeria, according to the governor, is saying that the high cost of food items is based on logistics problems, logistics challenges, and the activities of hoarders as well. So he said that this logistics problem is bordering on transportation and destruction of food, especially perishable goods from the farms to the end users. And he's saying that what they are doing is trying to encourage people who are looking into getting into the transportation business to come and take advantage of the interventions that they have to solve this issue. Also, say hoarders will buy the goods and wait for dry season when it's very expensive, then release it. And one of the ways that they have tried to curb this is they started a program for those people who had taken money from this Anchor Borrowers program. Now they will receive the goods and put them in silos, and they are able to release them during the dry season when the millers need them exactly. They said they were able to release about 50,000 tons of maize throughout the silos. This worked very well in 2021 up until August. And among other interventions that are trying to sort out this problem of increase in prices of goods and services.
Okay, let's talk about tax returns. So the FIRS said they would begin a probe of big companies. According to Section 25 of the Federal, the FIRS Act amended in 2021, they now have law allowing them to access, using technology, the accounts of some big companies to ascertain what the tax should be. And they said they would give a 30-day notice to those companies before they show up. And if they are not allowed access, every day they are delayed would cost 25,000 naira. Now, this is because 2022 budget has a 37% deficit. And there's oil revenue that is not, that will have a non-oil revenue drop. So tax is going to be heavily what will power the economy this year. And so everybody should get ready, prepare yourself before they come. And if they show up without you being prepared, you have just 30 days to get your acts together. All
right, so the GSC, that's the Governing Council in Lagos State, was saying that they had no intention of replacing Governor Sanwo-Olu. This was following the an online publication saying that the GSC were actually trying to, not support the governor to run for a second term. And they said that this is totally false. that it was definitely, they were 100% supporting Governor Sanwo-Olu because of his delivering infrastructure projects for Lagos, working daily on making the state much better and safer for his residents. So there's absolutely nothing true in that article and publication. Okay, let's move on. We didn't reach Punch, but let's move on to another story. Daily Sun.
Daily Trust.
Daily Trust. Dozens killed in Niger, Katsina, Kaduna attacks. 281 Nigerians' crypto accounts restricted over security concern. CBN reduces ATM interbank transfer charges. 2023, tricky storms before article. How government cut off my wrist, 25-year-old mechanic. Zamfara trip, your claim mischievous, presidency replies PDP. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Yes, there's a human interest story there. Yahaya Mohammed Galadima, a 25-year-old mechanic, had his 2 hands cut off by gunmen, and he was recounting his travails to Daily Trust. So he specializes in repairing J5 vehicles, and he said he was coming back from repairing one vehicle and was ambushed by some unknown gunmen. And before he realized what was happening, they had, they fell on their bikes. His second in command was injured while they had that accident, and those gunmen were shooting sporadically into the air, and they just spread his hand and cut off the hand. So he was narrating this, and investigations are ongoing to see how he can be helped.
Okay. So follow up with major crisis that happened to all of those in the crypto market. And the CEO of Binance. Binance is a crypto exchange. It's like a SEC in the crypto market. And Binance CEO, Asia's richest man, Changpeng Zhao, has written a letter addressing his Nigerian clients because they went on Twitter and it was the 3rd trending topic globally on Twitter with 25,000 tweets complaining about how their account was restricted. They couldn't complete transaction. So the CEO mentioned that they have an internal protection mechanism that is an anti-money laundering system, and that they got complaints from our government and the international law enforcement, so on specific accounts, and 281 Nigerian accounts have been affected with this personal restriction, and approximately 38% of these cases were based on the request of the international law enforcement. This is legal. The company is being held accountable to the laws because they also want to protect their interests. And Nigeria is fighting these accounts based on security concerns that they are funding, that they are causing scam. And the transactions, Nigeria has already said that transactions of cryptocurrency exchange is not legal here. So I'm wondering how this would go. I'm really, really wondering how this would go.
Take the PDP and the presidency on Zamfara. So the president had cancelled a planned trip to Zamfara, basing it, of course, on weather. That, in his own words, he says the sudden deterioration of the weather was the sole reason why he couldn't continue the visit. And he did that on the national broadcast, addressing the people of Zamfara, saying as soon as things get better with weather, he would make the visit. But the PDP took it and went at him for it, which the presidency said was mischievous, shameful, and disgraceful. That the PDP would say that because they know that, to fly to an area like that or any area at all, visibility is extremely important. To, to just join words at every excuse is mischievous.
Okay, another good news from the CBN, quickly. So they said they have tried to reduce the ATM withdrawal charges, interbank transfer fees. They are issuing a downward review of the charges for electronic banking transactions. And they have been revising this. And let me quickly go to what they are reducing from. So withdrawals on ATMs being reduced from 65 Naira to 35 Naira after the 3rd withdrawal within the same month. Then they are cutting bank transfers to a maximum of 50 Naira per transaction as against 300 Naira. And they are going to also be sanctioning banks who just withdraw, take out money unapproved. So let's start paying attention to how much we are losing per transaction.
Right, so I was going to take very quickly the major headline in Daily Trust. I mean, dozens killed in Niger, Katsina, Kaduna attacks. This is quite painful because there was a bloodbath carnage across 4 states devastated by the banditry and other security challenges over the weekend. Terrorists unleashed mayhem on the villages and the markets, killing dozens and displacing hundreds. I mean, this happened just over the weekend. So the Emir of Katsina, Alhaji Abdulmumin Kabir, was telling the Vice President that they need help and that the menace has totally gone out of hand. And I mean, so in Niger State alone, at least 20 people were killed and 11 security operatives were reportedly also killed. And many houses burnt, and bandits in their numbers overran forces, operations based, and launched a fresh attack on the Galadima, Kogo, and Gakogo communities of in this state. This is quite painful because although the Vice President kept saying that they should just hang in there, that they're definitely going to work to ensure to return safety. But they said they have really run out of patience with the terrorists because they've used every means possible to bring an end to these bloody attacks in this region. So this is Kaduna right there, and it's really, really painful. Oh, just over the weekend, bandits have really taken over, and many have died, and houses burnt. Okay. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on to other stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving on quickly now to the punch. Presidency APC in dilemma over zoning may throw race open. 3 arrested as Osun vows clamp down on Ilesha killers. Boyfriend fleeing after killing beheading girlfriend arrested in Ogun. Ekiti APC paramedics hold will challenge outcome, says Bamidele. NDLEA seizes 48,000 tramadol tablets and 22 UK, France, Portugal passports. 28 gunned down as killings rise in Kaduna and Niger State. Refineries rehabilitation gulped 100 billion naira in 2021. We didn't read that story. 100 billion naira. So 100 billion has gone by.
Yes.
Refineries. And we're still not working.
Just like that.
Okay, let me not move with that. Yeah.
Let me take the interest quickly.
Yeah.
So the story trending over the weekend of the 3 teenagers who killed the girlfriend of one of them. According to the story, the poor girl, this happened in Abeokuta, the poor girl was lured by her boyfriend at the time to his house, and his 3 other friends joined him to behead her, and they were caught burning the skull of the poor girl. According to them, it's for them to get money rituals. The oldest of them is 19. So we have a problem at hand. And fortunately, the boyfriend escaped, but fortunately he's been arrested. I'm hoping... I saw a video, an interview of the girl's sister. Her mom is in a very bad health condition, so they are trying to keep this discreet and protect her mom from this information. But there's no how to, if she finds out her daughter died this way, you know. So the proper thing is, let's exert the power of the law to deter retribution. An eye for an eye kind of example is what is most important that can deter.
What we need.
We need that for this now.
I agree with you.
Okay, so NDLEA seizes 48,000 tramadol tablets, 22 UK, France passports. So what happened was that there were the operatives clamped down on a young man was on his way to Cameroon with 48,000 tablets of tramadol through the Adamawa state going to Cameroon. And they also intercepted 1,500 kilograms of imported illicit substances during this raid in Edo State. Furthermore, they arrested in Lagos State a 25-year-old, let me get his name, Ibrahim Musa, who was also with 18,530 tablets of tramadol and something called Extor 5 and 138 bottles of codeine. And this was at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. I mean, it is really, really... First of all, it's heartwarming that NDLEA seems to be clamping down, but it's even more worrisome that the more they clamp down, the more we see. So it's a huge cabal that is in charge of this and that is actually doing this issue of drugs, illicit drugs in Nigeria. And we must, as parents and family members and society at large, be on the lookout and see how we can be reporting some of these things to the police. But I'm happy that they're able to arrest this person. One more story.
Yes, I was going to take the story of transport fare jumps by 283%. So the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics has done a report called the Transport Fare Watch Report. And in this, they measured between January 2017 and December 2021. And in that report, they found that transportation costs had increased by over 200%, despite the fact that fuel costs had only increased by 11%, according to 11.48%, according to them. And I was trying to quickly read through to understand what did they see, what would they blame for the increase in transportation. because they said the increase in transportation is what is causing increase in food prices. And part of what is causing inflation, and our inflation rate has increased again. We cannot sustain. We have one of the highest inflation rates in the world. We are currently 15.50%, and that is the one captured. We locally captured the fact that beans and rice have gone by over 300%, despite inflation 15%. So I read through it, and the comment was that maybe the issues with dollar prices. They mentioned the fact that the subsidy removal would have helped, but now that subsidy removal has been postponed, we will have to pay the price of paying subsidy for the next 18 months.
The point.
Worrisome.
Loans to power sector threaten Nigerian banks. FG drags popular pastor to court for sexually abusing female church member. Yahoo boy buys 1.4 million naira drinks for friends at club and refuses to pay.
Yeah, there you go.
I have that story.
Don't stuff.
Did I start with that story? No, start with your...
Okay, yeah, so the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons in Osun State has dragged Pastor Adeyemi Adeniro before a federal high court sitting in Osogbo over allegations of sexual exploitation, deceit, and trafficking in persons. Adeniro is the founder and general overseer of the Great Tabernacle Miracle Church of God, Aga area, Ido Osun, in Egbedore local government area of the state. And he was charged with 12 counts. So he was also accused by female members of his church for exploiting and sleeping with them. A few of them testified in court that he had slept with them, and he forced some of them to commit abortion. So the matter was deferred till today. Hopefully he's going to get judgment. Though he's pleading, he's not guilty. That people are just trying to bring down his ministry.
Right. Okay, so I have the story of this, I'll say maybe foolish boy, 25-year-old man actually, Kehinde Ibitoye, got in trouble for not being able to pay 1.4 million naira at a club. So what he did, he ordered, let me tell you what he ordered. He ordered 280,000 naira worth of casket wine. I never even knew what the hell that was, casket wine. Oh. Then Hennessy drink value 100,000 naira. Hollandia yogurt value at 2,800. Then there's something called Azul Desprosad valued at 800,000. And something else. I mean, and he just was having a ball, celebrating
and he didn't have the money to pay for
What does he need all those drinks for?
And now said that they were just with staying for his friends. And they were having a great time.
Drinks on me.
And now said that he was going to transfer. And the transfer never went through. Because he didn't have the money.
Hey, go ahead and run at the account.
They took him to court.
Hope they flogged him.
He needs to be flogged.
Friends need to
So the magistrate actually, they wanted to grant him bail, but the magistrate said, like this one.
He would disappear.
So stage, let him cool off in prison for now.
Should go and find the money.
Okay, moving on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Power must shift to South, Middle Belt Forum says. 19 killed, houses burnt. I think I took that story in Niger State communities. Judiciary budget, NJC under pressure. Alleged financial misappropriation, Ogun Assembly summons LG chairman, others. Aborted Zamfara trip, presidency attacks PDP, accuses of mischief. And Shegun Oni accuses Fayoshe NWC of sellout to APC. Okay.
The major headline?
Yes.
So the Middle Belt Forum on Sunday are warning those clamoring that this president should come from the north. That's 2023 when we have a new election. That they are not working for the interest of the country. It says that one of the ways that we can solve the problem of insecurity in our country is by power shifting from the north to the south. That the north has held power for a long time. Is now time for that opportunity to be given to the south so that we can see what they have as well. And that they have said their piece. They are going to support the South from getting power this time around. That most of the insecurity issues we have, especially in the North, is caused by the northern elites. That they're trying to, because of their own selfish interests, they are not paying attention to what they're supposed to pay attention to. But if we shift power to the South now, we can see a difference in how things will be handled, and that may just save Nigeria from the downfall.
So the judiciary's budget, does the NJC have been sort of exposed, because we have the Attorney General's office, the ICPC, the Budget Office, and the House of Representatives Committee on Judiciary, all condemning the NJC for having lack of transparency in their budget, saying that their budgetary allocation is opaque in nature. I'm hoping that the probe further and the NJC comes out open, because you have to hold yourself to the standards of justice that you supposed to be holding orders.
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. Suspended DCP Abakiari attends IGP Alkali's son's wedding in Maiduguri. It's a hot topic. 2023, shun politicians playing religious ethnic cards, says Catholic Church. Why bandits are now classified as terrorists, says Osinbajo. 2023, APC leaders split over Tinubu. Our worries over 3 trillion fake approval for petrol subsidy, says NECA. PDP's attack on Buhari over cancellation of Zamfara visit, shameful and disgraceful, says Presidency. Governorship poll, Bamidele vows to challenge Ekiti APC primaries. And NDLA arrests 3 trans-border traffickers with 48,000 tramadol tablets. Yes, which story?
Do we have in the Vanguard?
I'm going to take the Abakiari story.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that one will do it.
No, let me quickly, there are 2 stories that we skipped, stories of refinery. So our refinery has gobbled 100 billion naira in rehabilitation in 2021. That's from the NNPC. The NNPC did not specify which of the refineries they rehabilitated, but remember that they signed a contract last year. They signed a contract, I think, in April with a company called Technimont, because I had to Google the company, find out, because I was just wondering who got this contract. So the company is called Technimont, and Nigeria is supposed to pay 15% funding for the refinery rehabilitation. This has been an ongoing exercise for several years, trying to bring the refinery upstream with the hopes that when we internally refine, we would have less reasons to pay for subsidy externally. But the refinery first is covering the Kaduna one. They're saying that later they will sign the contract to rehabilitate, Port Harcourt first, contract to be signed to rehabilitate Warri and Kaduna refinery. It will be awarded to Messrs. Saipen. We're still going to be paying 3 trillion in subsidy for this year. That's the one Senate is complaining about, that we need to justify why we're budgeting that much. But since they postponed
so the APC leaders are split over Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it was in the papers here where one of the top leaders in APC was saying that Asiwaju is not desperate to become president in 2023, but wants agreements to be honored. According to the story, they said that the president had promised to hand over to Asiwaju in 2023, but now that if they don't want to fulfill that promise, it should be over a conversation, not a dishonored situation. So Tinubu has to be respected. You can't treat him as nobody and expect him to keep quiet and do nothing. He's a Democrat. So let there be a conversation according to that story. Okay, moving on quickly now. I think that's
I wanted to take, yes.
Oh, please go ahead.
Quickly, yes. So at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria. Oh, all right, that's fine.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we've got our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right